In less than 8 weeks, we will be looking at 2 years in the pandemic. When the church was shut down, I made this following video to help the church stay connected as the people of God. Since that time, I retired from a career of 5 decades of serving local congregations and have learned more about computers, the internet, YouTube, and technology that never existed when I came along. It seemed that these capabilities should be used to share the good news of God and the principles of faith and love. So, I established the Daily Dose of Daryl as a means to do just that. It's been a 2-year journey of study, learning, and work to improve and develop this channel and my own personal growth. I trust that the followers have received something from these daily offerings. I am reposting this video that was made when the world faced a dark time to help us see that God is continuing to speak and to let you know that Providence Church has a great pastor to help carry the banner forward. Take time to get to know Pastor Steve Janicello and know that the church is open now and welcoming you to share in its life. Thank you for all you do in service to God wherever you are, and God bless you as you watch this video. We're certainly glad that you could join us at a historic Providence Christian Church on this Palm Sunday. This is an unusual Palm Sunday, a time for fanfare, hosannas, and lots of joy. And yet we're in the middle of a pandemic. We all face hard times and hardships. I've seen many throughout my life. My good buddy Daryl R. Peebles in Hobart, Tasmania is shown here at the grave next to his mother and his father. He's had to deal with that throughout his life now. And also in recent days and months, more grief. His good buddy and brother Reggie has gone on to his heavenly reward. And so, even through this clone of mine, we learn many things. Some of you may not know about Daryl. He is from Hobart, Tasmania, Australia, and he and I have many things in common. On this Palm Sunday, I want to introduce you to him just a little bit because he has some words that I'm going to share with you today that were done for his church in Tasmania. And of course, many of you may not know where Tasmania is. I met him through the internet when I Googled my name years ago. And we met that way, and I began to see pictures of him, and I realized we weren't exactly alike, even though we had the same name, but there were some similarities. Even the trees, I suppose, in our yard were very similar. And so you can tell that there was a learning experience of how we were alike. As we began to email back and forth, we learned a little bit about our activities and interests. Daryl has served in the Navy in Australia for many, many years and served in the Navy Reserve up until recent days. His uniform is a naval uniform, and my fire service uniform, Class A, is based upon the Navy uniform. I then saw some photographs of him and his funny characters he had developed, and I realized that this must go a little bit deeper. And so I began to look at some of my characters and realized we had some very similar tastes and interests and activities. Along the way, I saw that he had a very special interest in entertaining children and bringing joy into their lives. And I realized that he did that through puppetry and magic shows, of which I have been doing also for many, many years. As this developed and we learned more about each other, there were many, many common things that we saw in this process as we went along. As you'll notice from this list right here, aside from our names and when we were born and the place we were born and the children we had at different times, there were other things including our careers and media and public service and entertainment, and then the years we've been involved in that. Also in our writing careers and designing careers, even to filmmaking and TV work. Our fathers, very similarities there. And even our mates born in February 52, both of them, and we traced our ancestry back to 1649 in Fife, Scotland. And so eventually we decided we should get together, and believe it or not, we actually did finally plan and work and develop to do a show together here in North Carolina. And on one of his tours around the world, we were able to get together finally. You can notice from some of the photographs here that we really enjoyed working together, and found out even in planning this in person, we had one day to really rehearse, that our minds thought a lot alike, and there were very similarities like that. We did discuss the church a bit and realized that our churches were very similar too. And all of this led us to all kinds of avenues like The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. But today, I have a piece for Palm Sunday that he wrote. One of the perks of preparing this combined church newsletter is that you get to select the front page image. This usually relates to the theme of the specific Sunday in the church calendar. So, being Palm Sunday, imagine my delight in finding an image which also contained my favorite Bible verse, Psalm 118, verse 24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I recall hearing an opinion about this passage, suggesting that it was not written when everything in the world of its author was hunky-dory. Instead, it is believed that it was written in a time of incredible adversity. Today's news reports are full of unusual cliches describing COVID-19 situation. According to our politicians and media commentators, these are unprecedented times and uncharted waters. Although this particular pandemic is certainly new, our history is littered with a multitude of crises during which the way we live had to change. Some of these disturbances were also pandemics like the Black Plague or the Spanish flu. Others were due to wars, financial collapses like the Great Depression, or the more recent global financial crisis. When confronted by such situations, it's easy to succumb into desperation. It's easy to give up, to not look for a way out, to see that the glass is half empty. It's normal to feel despair at times like these, but there is still hope and joy. True joy is never dependent on our circumstances. Learning to choose joy in difficult times takes effort, commitment, and positive action. To arrive back to a state of joy, we have to work through the aspects of life that cause us to stumble, anger, fear, and grief. Viktor Frankl is one of the remarkable humans who exemplify this attitude. Frankl was an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist, as well as a Holocaust survivor. After the atrocities of World War II, he immigrated to the United States, and in 1946 wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Two memorable quotes from this book are, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves, and everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Another of my favorite Bible verses comes from Philippians 4:13. Putting these two readings together, for me at least, allows me to reframe today's dilemma into tomorrow's possibilities. Folks, I hope you can tell that the other Daryl Peebles and I both have very similar hearts. A heart for wanting to reach out in the midst of problems to touch others. You can notice from some of these pictures from the world tour, and even here locally, and celebrating the people who gave their lives in the Twin Towers attack on September 11th. All of this just points to the fact that there's so many people in this world with a similar heart. Back in the late 70s and the early 80s, we began a movement here called the Alamance County Crop Walk. We designed different things and got the word out, and thousands of people responded. And the end result was developing into that plus allied churches of Alamance County to serve people locally who are homeless and also many times deprived of food. And you can see that this has taken place here in a multitude of ways. Around the world, on this particular tour that I took, called Link the World with Love Through Service, 4 continents, 12 nations, 36 cities, in 63 days, you'll see people all over the world that are less fortunate or struggling, having to live on the streets many times. And when you begin to see these people, you'll notice that not everyone is like that. Oftentimes the people who are suffering are standing right next to the people who are flourishing. People, if you'll just understand that we in this country are flourishing, and many times the people around us are suffering. And so here on this Palm Sunday, as Jesus began to go in with shouts of Hosanna, there were people that were throwing palms, not paper roses, at his feet. But yet he pointed out to the fact that he was facing the cross. And so as we face our crosses, we must learn to help each other, even as young people help older people, dealing with the new technology. And people begin to share their talents, whether they're on the street in various countries around the world, trying to inspire people, to lift them up and to encourage them, or whether it's here in Alamance County when we have the annual Christmas parade and they're trying to share something about the way Christ is there for everyone to be able to help them. Or perhaps it's in a worship service somewhere where the children are not only entertained, but they're taught lessons of how to begin to balance their life in the midst of the things that come against them. And some children face tremendous difficulties, even at a very early age, facing things like cancer and other things that are becoming a challenge, and yet learn to overcome and persevere and go through these trials. Others grow up and begin to use their gifts and talents to serve others, whether it's cutting the grass at a local church, or perhaps serving as a pastor for over 50 years in many areas throughout the United States. And in this particular time, we hope you'll understand that whether you're on the street, helping someone with their iPad or their iPhone or smartphone, or whether you're on one of the streets here in Graham or Burlington or Mebane or throughout the state, sharing your talents of singing, or guitar, or ventriloquism, then you are important to God. And on this Palm Sunday, realize that even as in Peoples, Scotland, where the lady has for years gone up and rung the bells out above that quaint village near the Tweed River, you are able to ring your bells out each day through your sharing with others. And whether you're like the young man that faithfully served in driving people from one destination to another, you can help people in their lives get from one place to another without even driving a vehicle. Or perhaps in London, where serving as Lions Club, they've helped multitudes of people with many projects. Or perhaps like my father, who served in the military and eventually lost his fingers working to provide for other people, but persevered and carried on. Or even over in London, England, where the fire service continues to honor 2 young men who were willing to give up their lives, endeavoring to save the lives and properties of others. And as you begin to realize that it's not just here, it's around the world where people are taking seriously the commission that God has given to us and Jesus confirmed. It could be in a high church or not, but it gives us hope, because all of us need hope. And many people today, amongst this pandemic challenge, think that they are coming to the end and that life is a dead end for them. and there's no hope there. But friends, there is hope for each of us, and that hope is very much like a power plant on a river. And when the river comes through and turns those wheels, it begins to generate electricity. And that's the kind of electricity you need for this technology. But the kind of power we need is not a power plant on a river, but is very symbolic of the power that came into the world on a night long ago when the shepherds came and the angels sang when Jesus was born. And so we need during this time particularly to turn our eyes upon Jesus and look full in his wonderful face, because the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. And he went through that Passion Week from Palm Sunday all the way to the cross. And at Calvary, he began to realize that he was giving this up for us. And so we need to receive that gift and look forward to the resurrection and new life, like when the sun rises each day. And the reminder is there for each of us that we too have hope of new promises for us, and that this is not the end. The darkness is not the end, and that the light of God shines even through the dimming hours, even into the sunset of every situation and every light. He continues to shine forth with promise and hope. And we can begin to get that. And even when we get into the darkest of night in our lives, when it's so dark, yet it's like a full moon shining through that's reflecting God's love to us. So we here at Providence Church are proud to celebrate the good news of Jesus Christ today. And we trust that you will turn to Christ in your own way today. Ask him into your heart. Recommit yourselves to sharing that good news with others through love and service. Find creative ways in your life to share that good news and encourage others today. Enjoy this music now.
He developed a character with ugly teeth and big glasses. So did I. His father was from a small town. So was mine. His father worked on a turning lathe. So did mine. He has a service uniform. So do I. He was filmed in a commercial. So was I. He helped produce a safety film. So did I. He's a writer. So am I. He's going to England. I'm not. A story that began in 1649 when Captain David Peebles left Fife, Scotland, and his two sons were separated. After 357 years, it comes full circle today when these two men who have lived parallel lives in opposite parts of the world have now discovered each other and are now ready to meet for the first time ever. So, people in Graham and Alamance County, North Carolina, help me give one of the biggest and warmest welcomes ever offered for Daryl R. Peebles of Hobart, Tasmania, Australia, and his partner, Elsha Steen.
It's fine to be here.
Come right in. Oh, my goodness. How in the world are you?
Daryl R. Peebles.
I'm Daryl R. Peebles.
Well, isn't that a coincidence?
It's good to meet you, and your name is really Daryl R. Peebles.
Isn't that amazing?
Bright sun, bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, where so gallantly
Let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. You come a waltzing Matilda with me.
who'll come walking with all their worldly possessions wrapped up in an old blanket and slung over their shoulder with me.
That's about right. Now, this is the chorus, ladies and gentlemen. You get to know this so you could perhaps sing along. It goes, waltzing Matilda, who'll come the waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. Who'll come the waltzing Matilda with me.
Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, 'cause I can't do this all my own. I'm letting go, so give me one more chance to save me from this road.
If you want to be a magician, you have to know this lesson. In order to be anything that you want to be, first, you have to find somebody that already is what it is you want to be. Then if you watch what they do and do what they did, you can be what they are because you did what they did. But if you don't watch what they do, you can't do what they did and you won't be what they are because you didn't do what they did. Now, if you want to be what I am, just simply watch what I do and do what I did and you'll be what I am because you did what I did. But if you don't watch what I do, you can't do what I did and you won't be what I am, you'll be wet.
Sorry, I don't understand your accent. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I've never seen a bigger dummy. This is a dummy? These are the sort of dummies you have in America? Hang on. This is a floppy old dummy. Okay. How's this going to work? Maybe. Whew. Oh, yeah, controls it back here. Hang on. Head up. Head right. Head left. Oh, this will work well. Head centre and jaw. Oh, excellent. Okay. Whew, that was lucky. A bit of ventriloquism. I wonder what his name is. Hang on. What's your name? Larry. Hang on. This show is billed as the Darryl and No Larry show. All right. No Larry. So your name's No Larry. Yup. Okay, No Larry. What I was going to say was, I came without my own dummy, so you have to be my dummy. Is that okay? Okay. And where do you live, No Larry? North Carolina?
Duck your head, wipe off the mascara. Here, take my Kleenex, wipe that lipstick away. Show me your face, as clean as the morning. I know things were bad, but now they're okay. 'Cause suddenly Seymour is standing beside you. You don't need no makeup, don't have to pretend. 'Cause suddenly Seymour is here to provide you with sweet understanding. Seymour's your friend.
Treated me kindly. Daddy left early. Mama was poor. I'd meet a man and I'd follow him blindly. He'd snap his fingers at me. I'd say sure, but suddenly Seymour is standing beside me. He don't give me orders. He don't condescend. Suddenly Seymour is here to provide me with sweet understanding. Seymour's my
Tell me the feelings will last forever. Tell me the bad times are clean washed away.
You must understand that it's so strange and frightening. For losers like I've been, it's so hard to say.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
We appreciate you being here. In fact, you know, as you look at this set and you see the two countries, it's a long way from Tasmania to North Carolina. But isn't it neat to see how down there in Tasmania that there's a nut down there too? And the children and the people, love and laughter is being shared there just like it is up here.
It's wonderful.
And it's really special the way God does things like that. In fact, your presence, good health and energy, and the many people that made this whole week possible are blessings from God. And I believe we just ought to stand and praise God from whom all blessings flow. It's been such a privilege and pleasure to see the world brought together with the magic of love and laughter. And you know, there are two languages that everybody speaks. It's English and Southern. But really the two languages that everybody speaks is the language of love and laughter. Everybody laughs in the same language. And everybody feels love and loves in the same language. Our little life and our little thing we do is an effort to help share that. And we want to invite you as you leave this place tonight to go out speaking that language to others, because the world is in desperate need of love and laughter. And we hope you'll do that. But you know, all things must come to an end, and things are winding down, and I guess it's about ready to wrap the show up, don't you think?
I think so.
What do you think about it? Sometimes there's some unfinished business left.
Well, yes.
And there's been a thing about these things here.
Yeah.
And there's a question that people in our country ask.
Oh, you're not going to do this, are we, Daryl? I thought we weren't going to do this.
There's a big question.
Yeah,
You know what that question is?
Yeah, what does a Scotsman wear under his kilt?
I believe that's the question.
We've got to answer that. Are you sure we have to do
I
this?
think we have to do this. Do we have to do that? I think they want us to.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I think I am.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
This is revealing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wrong way around.
On this Palm Sunday, amidst one of the darkest times the world has ever known, we at Providence Church want you to know that this is not the end. It's just the beginning. God is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, and always provides signs of hope and eternal spring for you. Be aware, open your eyes, and receive that hope today.